Hare Krishna. Can you unmute yourself? Hare Krishna, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome to day 1 of Bhagavad Gita journey. We all promised yesterday that we continue this journey of 18 days. So I'm so happy and I'm grateful to each one of you who are present here. And thank you so much for waiting patiently. So let's start off with our Mangalacharan. Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanattimurandasya Jnananjalachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadat Swapadakam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Manishwari Vishada Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Come on, all of you unmute yourself and start. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So this class, I've always loved this to be different from our usual school because it should be interactive and it should be joy learning. So let's start our journey. I'm talking about understanding Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. And every time I set the mood, right? So I always have this habit that before we start the chapter, we will get into the mood of the class. So today, the mood of the class is going to be that of the war field. So just imagine all of us are in the war field and in Kurukshetra. So, if you can put yourself there and start the experience of what everybody is feeling there, right? And, this entire, founder Acharya, let's pay our obeisances to Shri Radha Govinda, as well as to our Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada. Today we saw the story of how he went in this cargo ship with our Indian rupee 40 to USA and therefore managed to capture a lot of people. Back to Godhead is a magazine and also 60 books he wrote. He started his journey and he had captured a lot. And this is our deity whose temple is getting constructed. Hopefully your next trip to Mangalore, we will have the temple full and running. And thanks to Namanishta Das Prabhu and some of you all told we want to do higher courses and higher classes. Yes, that's how even I am in Bhakti Shastri. And thanks to him because he's not charging any of us anything. Even donation is not, it's totally out of your interest. So there is no mandate. Yes, you can start reading. We read this yesterday, but I would want this to be repeated. So please go ahead and read this. Hare Krishna. You can start reading. One second, you have to unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Simran, you can unmute.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Please go ahead and read. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is an epic scripture that has the answers to all our problems. It was considered a spiritual dictionary by Mahatma Gandhi, and it is a book of inspiration for many leaders across the planet.
Hare Krishna. So we know, as I told yesterday, Mahatma Gandhi feels this is a great scripture. So then, needless to say, then where are we? We will also feel a very similar thing, right? That he's a great solution for all solution. So imagine for someone like Gandhi, he had problems from all sides, right? But we get worried about one small problem. So if he could find the solution in Bhagavad Gita, so shall we. And we saw Einstein where he says, when I read the Bhagavad Gita and reflect about how God created this universe, everything else seems so superfluous, right? This is from Einstein. So the reason I'm reading this for you or to you is because it's just not Bhagavad Gita, and this is not sectorial. It's basically not addressing any particular sector, but it is across, right? And this is the chain of discipline succession, which starts from Krishna and goes through Brahma, Narada, Lord Chaitanya Prabhu, as well as Prabhupada, right? And through him is what we are all teaching. So this, I already told, this is going to take over a year. And but what we are going to do is just a glimpse, right? We have in the movie a trailer and a teaser. So this is going to be just a teaser of the whole movie. That is, the whole movie is Bhagavad Gita, right? So we are just going to see the flow of thoughts so that we are really prepared, for a deeper study. Hare Krishna. And what mood we should be is mentioned here. Arjuna is hearing, and so are we. Therefore, both our mood should be similar to that of Arjuna. Right? So please go ahead and read. Hare Krishna. Please read.
Hare Krishna. The mood of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's bewilderment and appearance of illusion must be understood to be Krishna's arrangement. If not for Arjuna's confusion and bewilderment, there would have been no necessity for Krishna to speak the Bhagavad Gita to rescue him. Although Arjuna is the apparent first listener of the Bhagavad Gita, it is for the benefit of everyone.
You are not audible, ma'am.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So the entire thing of Bhagavad Gita and Arjuna getting confused, which we are going to see in chapter 1, is all the work and intention of Krishna. Because if Arjuna is not confused, then we will never have answers, right? So it is all done for the benefit of everyone. Because if Krishna has to tell to Arjuna, he would very silently, whisper into ears, which he didn't, right? So Arjuna's indecisiveness. Does anyone know the meaning of indecisive? What do you mean by indecisive? You don't need to know Bhagavad Gita. I'm just asking the English meaning of indecisive.
Not come to a proper decision.
To make proper decisions.
Not able to make decision.
Sorry?
Not able to make proper decisions.
Yeah, not able to take a decision. Proper decision, not able to take any decision. Very confused, right? So therefore, this is where Krishna drove the chariot in the midst of both armies. And therefore, Arjuna is having the difficulty to fight this battle of Kurukshetra. Just remember, we are also in this Kurukshetra. I told you to set your mood. So we are all in the Kurukshetra, and eventually, we are listening to Bhagavad Gita. So every journey begins with a single step. Let's begin this journey into the mysticism of Gita. Hare Krishna, and welcome to each one of you. I am so happy that everyone have come, and this is the Gita chart, the purpose of Gita. Sarva Upanishaddo Gavo Dokta Gopala Nandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Duktam Gitamritam Mahat. Hare Krishna. Yeah, you can read the English translation.
Hare Krishna. All the Upashanas are like a cow, and the milker of the cow is the Lord Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna. The son of Nanda, Arjuna, is the calf. The beautiful nectar of the Gita is the milk, and the fortunate devotees of fine synthesis intellect are the drinkers and the enjoyers of that milk.
So you can see, Arjuna is the calf, so are we. So the beautiful nectar of Gita is like the milk. And who are the fortunate devotees? They are the teachers, right? And we are all the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk. So that is so evidently given. So the first chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. It is also called observing the armies, right, in the battlefield. So this is what it is. So we can see, before that, we'll see the mood of everyone. So can you... So this is the battlefield. So we have our two heroes, who is Arjuna and Krishna and Arjuna, and you can see everybody's mood. So can someone tell who's in the middle with the hand on the head?
Arjun.
Sorry?
Arjuna.
Yes, Arjuna, that's right. Speak a little louder. And the one on the right hand side, lower right.
Duryodhan.
Very right. Perfect. Duryodhana. And who's this uncle here on the top left?
Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is the father of Duryodhana. And the father's brother of our Panchapandavas, who is like includes Arjuna, right? So the first sloka we are sitting in, Hare Krishna. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kimakurvata Sanjaya. So Sanjaya, who is Sanjaya? It's a new character. Does anyone know who Sanjaya is?
Yes, yes.
Please tell me.
Sanjay used to say everything what happened in the Kurukshetra to Dhritarashtra.
Very nice. So beautiful. Yes. Sanjaya is like a personal secretary of Dhritarashtra. Also, the speciality of Sanjaya is Veda Vyasa. Vyasa is Sishya, right? So, who is Vyasa? Vyasa is the one who wrote Mahabharata, the various Vedas. All of that is written by Vyasa. And Sanjaya is the student of Vyasa, and therefore, you know that he's got the special eyes, right? So what is happening with the special eyes is, you know, we have this cricket match which is played miles away or, you know, in some foreign land. It is telecasted for us through our television, right? Like that, the war is happening far away from the place where they are, because they are in the palace. And that, can you see on the top? It is actually is like it's like relayed. It's like a projector, right? You can project on the wall. So it's projected to him here, and he's able to see everything so clearly. And that's called Divya Drishti, and that's a gift which he has got. So now, what is the speciality of the first verse? Is Mamaka Pandava Chaiva. So now, normally, how do you consider? How should? Okay, I'll take an example. So let's assume that you have a cousin who's a small child, right? 3-year or a 4-year child. How will you treat the child? Just imagine your cousin has come and with you. What will you do to the child?
Very lovingly, we will play with him or her.
You'll take care of him, or you just throw him and give him one tight slap when nobody is there?
No, we will take care of him.
Take care of him, right? So imagine at your position and you are cousin and you don't have any responsibility, but still you are saying that you will take care of him. But Dhritarashtra's younger brother is Pandu, and he died, and his 5 kids are there, and he's just not bothered. And he clearly says, right? He says, you know, Dharmashetra Kurukshetra means the place the battle is formed is called Kurukshetra. It is also called Dharmashetra because that place is very sacred. And it is always, you know, Kuru dynasty has actually done a lot of auspicious yagnas there, and that particular place has a lot of sanity. And Samaveda Yutsavaha, right? He is trying to differentiate because he's saying Mamaka Pandava, right? My Mamaka means my sons, and Pandavas you all know. So technically all of them are Kurus, right? See, the children of 2 brothers will all have the same family heritage, right? But he's just differentiating by calling them as Pandava and calling his own child as my sons. So you can see the milk boiling, and here you can see Rasgulla, and you can see this, right? So he's clearly trying to differentiate. So Dharmashetra is a place which is very pure, right? Mamaka Pandava is like how he's trying to break that milk, which is very pure, by splitting into my sons and them. Kima Kurvata is about them, right? What are they doing? Kim means what? So if you're studying and if tomorrow is your exam, and if your door is locked and you're holding a book and studying, right? Your mom knows that you're studying, right? How do you feel when she knocks and tells, or your father knocks and tells, what are you doing? Isn't that the most irritating question in the world? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? Because obviously you're studying, right? And I think some experience like this they will have in the washroom also. They'll knock and tell, what are you doing? Arey, washroom, so what we will do? We will not eat now, we will not sleep, right? You can't tell like that also, right? So it's a typical classic example. But why is this coming up here? Because this is a battlefield. So what will he do? They're supposed to fight, right? But he is very apprehensive. So he's asking, what are they doing? What are they up to? Because he's confused. He's confused whether the battle will stop, whether, you know, whether the cousins will settle without a battle, which he's not. So that is what he is trying to. So now this is a scene. So can anyone guess who is he on, who's standing and who's sitting?
Ma'am, Duryodhana is standing, and
The other one is Shakun.
Shakun.
No. It's good guess. Duryodhana is standing, it's perfect, and the other one is not Shakun.
Okay.
Ma'am, Dronacharya.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It's Dronacharya. So normally when you appear for an exam or if you're going for a war, what will you do? You take the blessings of elders, or you pick a fight with them just before the exam.
Obviously, blessing.
Don't take blessings, we don't pick a fight, right? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
So thank you so much. So basically, what he is doing is he is coming and picking a fight. So one of you read this, you will understand. Hare Krishna. So if you can read this, please read. Please read, ma. Yeah, please read. I'm waiting.
Yeah. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada.
Thank you so much. So what does it mean? He's telling, oh my teacher, right? Behold the great army of sons of Pandu. So he's trying to appreciate. And does anyone know who is Drupada?
Brother of Draupadi.
Sorry, come back.
Brother of Draupadi.
No. It's not Draupadi, it's Drupada.
Ma'am, is it father of Draupadi?
Correct. Sorry, that's what you said. I heard it as okay. Yes, Drupada is father of Draupadi. So perfect. I didn't expect you all will know this. And there's someone called Dushta Drumina who is a sibling of Draupadi and son of Drupada. So why were they born? Actually, there is a story where there is a misunderstanding between Drupada and Dronacharya. Right? So let's forget the screen for a minute. So what happened is both were childhood friends. And they were such great friends, and they did schooling together. So Drupada had promised him, telling that, okay, I will take over the kingdom. And when I take over the kingdom, I'm going to give you half the kingdom, right? So this happened when they were schoolmates. But obviously, as life goes on, you don't remember. But Dronacharya was going through a lot of poverty, and he immediately was reminded of him. And therefore, he went and asked for, he never even claimed as yet, but he just went. But Drupada insulted him by saying that, I won't like to befriend somebody like you, right? And he took it as a strong insult, and he sent the army. So basically, he's the guru of both Pandavas and and the Arjuna, right? So, and what happened is he sent them across for a fight, and therefore Arjuna won over him, and there was second is his eldest daughter. And since he never had a son, he thought that is why he had to go through failure. And he prayed and did a penance to beget a son, who in fact will be the real warrior, right? He will be a warrior who will kill Drupada. Sorry, not Drupada, Dronacharya. Now the irony is, everybody knows. So it's not like today's politics, right? I'll do behind. Nobody will know. I'll secretly plow a plot and all. No, it's all like in public. And therefore, what happened is all this drama of working behind didn't happen. So Drupada was sent to get trained toward Dronacharya to kill Dronacharya. So Dronacharya knew this, and he is such an exalted teacher, because imagine which teacher, will you have a teacher who will teach you if he knows that you're going to learn the art and going to kill him? No, right? But he is so exalted that he taught, and he is being sarcastic, Duryodhana, instead of taking the blessings of the teacher, he is actually trying to criticize him and trying to scold him and abuse him for whatever actions he has done. Right? So you can see his face. Now you can close up. Want some more close up? Or this is sufficient? Hare Krishna. Huh? No? Okay, so we'll go to the next one. Hare Krishna 1.19. Sagosho Dhartarashtrana Hridayani Vyadarayat Nabascha Prithivim Chaiva Tumulo Apyanadayan. Hare Krishna. Please read. After I finish chanting the moment I tell Hare Krishna, you can start reading.
The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, and thus vibrating both in the sky and on the earth, it shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra.
Thank you so much. And prior to this, Simran, you were reading, right? Thank you so much for reading. And now it's Agam. Sorry, Anisha. Okay, Hare Krishna. So we can see conch shell. So you know what the conch shell is? The ones they blow for both auspicious and especially before the war as an indication for the commencement of the war, right? So you know what is happening? It's like the noise is so powerful and it's vibrating both in the sky and on the earth, right? It's so powerful that it literally shattered the heart of everybody. Why? Because see, sometimes voice has an effect, right? So if I may ask, how did you all join this class? How did you get to know about the class? To whom did you hear? Can one of you all tell me? Hare Krishna.
I have heard from Facebook.
Thank you so much. So heard means shunu, right? So you heard, right? So that is called voice. The noise or the hearing process is so powerful. That is why it's called Shravanam, and it is the most important step, even in advancement in anything, whether it's your science or whether your studies or college or school, it's a great advancement, right? So that's why we say shunu or hear. So the blowing of these different conch shells, right, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth, right? So and therefore prior to this, the conch shells were actually at the same conch shell were actually roaring through the other side also. Duryodhana, Bhishma, everyone did, but there was no impact. There was no such statement. But when Arjuna and especially Krishna blew his conch shell, you know, it was so powerful. So this vibration, the noise or the sound vibration created by them itself is very important because it said Hridayani Vyadaraya, right? It was shattering the heart. So it did have a impact. So if anybody knows, I think most of you will know, there is this famous poet during freedom fighting, right? Indian independence, Bharadiyar. Are you aware of him? Does anyone know Bharadiyar? He is from South India and he used to not get into war, but he used to only compose poetry. He used to sing poetry so well that it used to really make people, it's like a conspiracy, it really provoke people to become so violent to throw the Britishers out. So the sound vibrations are very powerful. So you can have a good glance of the warfield where we are in, and you can see on the opposite side what is happening, right? So we are charging and he is telling, please go and I want to assess the army of people, right? So, but after going there, you know, his confusion starts. What is the speciality of the place is Dharma Kshetra, because we know that the place itself is very, very auspicious, and we know the chariot is a speciality because the chariot is gifted by the fire god. There is something called Kapid Vaja, which is this flag. And can anyone tell me who is in the flag?
Hanuman.
Thank you so much. So Hanuman, right, the son of Vayu, he is so powerful and he's in the flag. And of course, the Shankanada, the conch shell we already spoke about. So that is the speciality. Gandiva bow, all of you know, Arjuna's Gandiva is yet another great speciality because it is, there is also one more bow called the Pashupatastra. That Astra means that's gifted, this one is gifted to him by Shiva. So both were very, very powerful. Yeah. Takta Jivita is a very important word which, you know, Duryodhana passes. He says, all the Jivitas on my side are Takta Jivita, which means they're just on the way to the graveyard, which means that he proudly says that they are willing to die, which also means that they are going to die, right? Because he is not confident of success. So, and that particular day is Moksha Ekadasi, and tomorrow is Ekadasi in Chennai and Delhi and many places. And the speciality of Moksha Ekadasi is there is always success for those in the righteous path. And the Pandavas were following Ekadasi. Bhagya Lakshmi. Anybody knows who's Bhagya Lakshmi? Who's Bhagya Lakshmi? Hare Krishna. Bhagya Lakshmi is the goddess of fortune, right? The wife of Krishna, Lakshmi Devi. So wherever Bhagya Lakshmi, goddess of fortune, is there, there is sure success. And last but not the least, our standard dialogue is Rishikesha. And you know who's Rishikesha? Does anyone know who's Rishikesha? Rishikesha is another name for Krishna. So each context he will be addressed in various names. And in this case, Rishikesha means Krishna. And why they've used his name is because he can control. He's like controller of senses, controls, right? So therefore he is there. So now what happens is Arjuna is telling that Senayor Ubayor Matya. So basically go and keep the Ratham, that is the chariot, in the middle of the battle because I want to take an assessment, right? It's a funny thing because he already knows whom he is fighting, so he doesn't need it. But Krishna, like a faithful, charioteer who's the driver, he goes and or rather parks the vehicle right before Dronacharya and Bhishma. If he had parked this before Duryodhana, he would have got angry or upset. But he is very smart. Krishna wanted Bhagavad Gita to come, so he did, and therefore starts our Arjuna, the hero's, lamentation. He's so compassionate that he starts lamenting, oh my God, why this happened? How can this happen? And he starts crying. Crying is not something like we crying because he's a Kshatriya. And imagine it's the middle of the battlefield. And, imagine we're all there in the battlefield and if he starts crying, imagine our superhero is crying, how will you feel? Right? So get into the mood. There's no enjoyment, compassionate because he says, oh my God, this is my teacher. This is my grandfather. I can't kill. And there's no enjoyment, right? So there is absolutely no enjoyment. He's very upset. He says, I don't enjoy. What do I get out of it? Nothing I get. So I don't want to get into this at all. Because I will win, but I should have people to enjoy, right? Hare, there is nobody to enjoy. So where will I and with whom will I enjoy? Sin. I am going to kill my own teacher, kill my own kinsman, kill my own grandfather. Won't it be sinful? Isn't it sinful? Yes or no? Hare Krishna, is it sinful or no? Why silent? You can always say yes or no. It's okay to be right. It's okay to be wrong. But what's not okay is not answering.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
so thank you so much. So it's a very sinful deed. So family traditions 1.45 is family tradition will be lost because all the elders will die, right? Because they're all part of the family. And if they are dead, then who will take care of the family? Because we all know about the tradition only through them, right? That's the thing. This is all, the four are in the first chapter. And the fifth chapter is indecision, which means that he becomes indecisive. He's confused, which will come tomorrow when we read. But the four reasons are compassion, no enjoyment, sin, and family tradition. Can you all repeat? When I tell, you can just repeat after me. Compassion.
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 No enjoyment.
No enjoyment.
Sin.
Family traditions.
Family traditions.
And finally, and
Travel
indecision.
tradition.
Indecision.
Thank you so much. That's a nice class. I'm enjoying. Very cool. Which can you relate to? Why I'm asked you to tell is what can you relate? Relate means if you are there in the field and if you're in Arjuna's position, what is the feeling? We get close. Chat and you can start typing. What is close? What do you relate?
It feels like seen or compassion.
Very nice. So let's take the view from all. You can even type in the chat. One is compassion, others, what do you all feel? All need not have the same answer. Oh, very nice, Simran. Thank you so much. No enjoyment.
According to me, compassion.
According to you, compassion. Yeah, perfect.
Indecision, ma'am.
Sorry, Nitesh.
Not able to take a decision.
Indecision, right? So yeah. So that second chapter, unable to decide. Yeah. I think I can also relate more to indecision. Because for me, if there is so much of pressure from four sides, I just don't know what to do. I don't even know what's right, what's not right. Right? So come on, only four of you have a view. One of you should fit in somewhere, no?
Indecision.
Yeah. Anybody fitting somewhere? Anybody? Somebody? Nobody?
No enjoyment and sin.
Thank you so much. That was very nice. No enjoyment and sin. Very
No
important.
enjoyment and sin, ma'am.
Yeah, sin. I was expecting Mini to tell sin. Yes, sin. Right? Keeping family. Now with so many things, Now tell me the mood. Isn't Arjuna sweet? What do you feel about Arjuna? Anyone feels Arjuna is a coward and he's scared?
No, ma'am, he's not scared.
No, he's not a coward or scared.
He's not coward. I'm having mini
He's
votes for this.
confused, ma'am.
Yeah,
He's
thank you.
confused.
He's not able to take a decision, ma'am.
Yeah, indecision. That's what Suraj also. Decision and all of them only is AOT. Yeah? Okay, I didn't know that abbreviation. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Utkarsh, Yadav, and Adit. Okay, and Soumya also indecision. Okay, all. So typically, each of us have a different feeling, but overall, we feel he is a sweet guy, right? End of the day, he is very sweet, or we feel he's a horrible covered guy.
Ma'am, AOT stands for maybe all of them.
Sorry,
All of these.
I can't hear you.
AOT.
Sorry. AOT. Okay. All of them. Yeah. Thank you so much. So we saw so many things like compassion, no enjoyment, sin, family, tradition, indecision. I think we had equal votes, I would say, for compassion also, indecision also, similarly. What I never heard a single vote also is family tradition, right? So I think, but you know what? We think we don't relate family tradition, but I'll take 1 minute, right? And all of us do this. So I remember my dad used to tell that his friend or one relative is coming. I have no idea who that relative is, and I don't even remember who that friend is. And he will come and tell me, go get well dressed. Until today, I don't understand the definition of well dressed because I'll be wearing a decent dress in the house. Obviously, we don't wear a gagra or a sari or a sharara in the house, right? So you're in your shorts and your t-shirt in your house. But he will immediately tell well dressed. And you'll feel like telling, why should I dress for some person who's coming? Yes or no? Can you relate, or is it like only I'm the odd one out in this entire world? Do you all also have this feeling?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Mataji.
Okay, I'm not alone. Thank you. So, and why do we go and dress well? We can always tell, no, I can't. Though we try, but we don't succeed most of the time, right? We are the ones to compromise. Yes or no? We only go wear something long, some skirt on top, some jean on top for boys, and some full shirt or a shirt. Remove your sleeveless t-shirts. All that happens or not?
Yes, ma'am, exactly.
Yeah, so why we do all this is knowingly or unknowingly, our family tradition is in stake. We don't do it consciously. We think, okay, dad is telling we are doing, but end of the day, we are doing it for dad is mainly because he is doing it in turn for the family tradition, right? He wants to pick a standard. Okay, my family means this. We're all a very decent family, and therefore we will be very well presenting ourselves before you. Because every time when my dad asks, I feel like telling dad, I'm not wearing a swimsuit, right? I'm like dressed well. But then I will sometimes tell, but not all the time. But all the time, what I do is go and change it, right? So their family tradition is not significantly highlighted in terms of the word, but in terms of actions, we have actually been doing it, knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously. Right. So quickly back to the summary. We have the first thing where Kim Akurva, right? What are they doing in a warfield, right? Are they eating, sleeping, fighting? But ideally they should be fighting. So what is Duryodhana's fear between 2 and 11? Mahati Chamum Vyu Dam, right? So he wants happening. What is happening? He's scared. He tries to be a revolter, right? He's trying to be a revolutionist, right? Trying to provoke everyone. Blowing of conscience impact, right? Hridayani Vyadaraya for the from Pandavas when the councils are born, it is very scary, shatter the hearts, but such a thing was not observed vice versa. Arjuna's observation 20 to 27, Gandhivam Shramshate Hastat, right? He starts crying, dropping the Gandhiva down, and this is very significant, right? Arjuna has taken a vow that no point in time he will drop his Gandhiva, and also that he will never be upset. He will never be upset. It's a line of a Kshatriya, right? Even when we are small, especially boys can relate this. Doesn't your mama tell when you're small, if you cry, hey, are you a girl? Why are you crying? Yes or no? Does your mom say?
Yes.
Right? The very first thing. So imagine if in Kali Yuga, if this is a situation, imagine he's a Kshatriya, right? A child who cries in the age of 2 days cold, they tell, don't cry. You're a boy. You're a Kshatriya. You're a future king. We are nowhere close to kingdom, but still the same impact is carried forward, right? Arjuna's reason not to fight is apratikaram ashashtam. So Arjuna is giving reasons which we saw, and with that, right, we will conclude the first chapter. Hare Krishna. So let me finish the prayer. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanan pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. All of you with me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, all of you. Thank you so much. It was a very interesting session for me, and I would like to know if you all have any doubts. Any doubts? So silent. I'm very scared of silence. I like noise. Very noisy. Very
Ma'am,
different. No, normally silence only we hear.
Ma'am,
One at a time. But sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
ma'am, the questions are uploaded after the class only, or is it
No,
uploaded
it might be late, but then it's already uploaded.
Okay.
Yeah, you can try it today. And even going by the class is over, not ours. You know, the batch started at 6 a.m. in the morning, so it should be ready. So if you can see my screen, you know, these are the various presentations: IQ, EQ, SQ, consciousness, karma, gaining knowledge, nature of the world, science, mind control, Darwin's final, all this is there, right? So maybe I'll just show you a sample. I want to finish everyday chapter at 4. I started we got a little delayed, so let me just try and quickly take you through this PPT. Is that okay? Another 10, 15 minutes, is it okay on your cards?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Of course, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this is a session on IQ, EQ, and SQ. This is a very interesting one because anyone who's finished degree and anyone doing management, any BA student here, or any BSc psychology, sociology student here? No? Acha.
Ma'am, I'm a BE student. I've completed BE.
BSc Biochemistry.
I am BTech student, ma'am. I've completed BTech engineering.
No. Specifically psychology.
No. Sorry, ma'am. No.
Yeah, no,
Ma'am,
it's not
BSc from Biochemistry.
Biochemistry also may not cover so much of this. But why I'm asking this, why I said management is management, this is one of the topics. That's why I asked. It's called organizational behavior. But nevertheless, I think most of you will understand this, so I will dive through. So there is something called the IQ, which is the intelligent quotient, right? So, and all of you, IQ test, yes or no?
Yes.
So what is, human intelligence? A general definition. Please read. Hare Krishna. Read the screen. Anyone can read. No hard and
Your
fast rule.
screen is not visible.
Your exactly that IQ, EQ, that
PPT is not visible, ma'am.
Oh my God. Yeah. Now is it visible?
Yeah, ma'am.
yes.
Visible, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
visible.
Read.
So
Please.
one's overall capacity to think rationally, act purposefully, and to deal effectively with one's environment. This is
It is only
human
called IQ,
intelligence.
right?
Yes.
So overall
Yes.
capacity to think rationally and to deal effectively and within one's environment, right? That is the IQ. And if you take this, yeah.
Good girl. Smarty pants dance, smarty pants dance. All right, come here. Show me where Florida is. Florida. Good girl. Come here. Show me where Texas is. Good girl. Smarty pants dance. Come here, smarty pants. All right, let's do a hard one. Where's Massachusetts? Very good. Good girl. Smarty pants dance. Smarty pants dance. You're a good smarty pants dance. All right, last one. Show me Oregon. Where's Oregon? Very good. Yay! Smarty pants dance. Smarty pants dance. Lola does the smarty pants dance.
Right. So this is what you call IQ, right? And higher a person's IQ, the theory is the higher their intelligence. So this is basic, right? I'm not inventing anything. So IQ means higher the thing. So now I'm going to quickly ask a question. Don't think, but tell me immediately, okay? What is the difference between a cow and a baby? Immediate. Fadafat answer. What is the difference? I didn't know.
Cow is an animal and
Cow give
baby is a
milk.
human.
Baby doesn't give
Very
milk.
nice. Hare Krishna. Okay, cow is an animal. One more. Something common and different.
Cow delivers milk. Baby brings milk.
Wow, thanks. Yes, correct. Does cow drink milk?
No,
Calf
ma'am.
drinks milk.
Cow drinks. Wow. A cow drinks water and makes milk, whereas a baby drinks milk and makes water. Right? So it's supposed to be a joke. If you can smile and laugh, you can. Right? Yes, thank you. Question. Okay, how can you drop a raw egg into a concrete floor without cracking? Can anyone tell me?
Just let
If you
it
know the
fall.
answer, don't tell me. Huh?
Just let it fall. Concrete will not break.
Ah, sweet. I
You
told you. Don't tell
boiled
me.
the egg.
He knew it. Come on. If it's an actual class, I'd have made you all give him one tappa.
I'm on the moon.
Tell mouse trap in 3 letters. Show you, but I don't have it around. Can anyone tell? Tough question. Think of an English word.
Gum.
Sorry? You're right. If I heard it right. Come back.
Is it gum, ma'am?
No. Catch.
Okay.
Catch. What is the perfect cure for dandruff?
Not having a hair.
Go bald.
Daily shampooing.
So now, just to give you a statistics, because you all seem smart in this group, but 50% of the population are below an IQ of 100. It's below. It's much, much below, right? So, just to give you a statistics, right? The IQ range for an illiterate is just, whatever you're talking about for everyone is very low, right? And anyone who's come to college, let's go there, because you said most of you are in college, right? Your IQ range is between 111 and 120. For an illiterate, it's below 30. So if you come to a college, it means your IQ is above 100. And even if you're in your 12th grade, it means your IQ is between 100 and 111. So if anyone calls you an idiot or a less IQ guy, you can tell, no, my IQ is over 100, right? So it's a good statistics I like. So now let's move to the EQ, which is the emotional quotient, which people never respect. People don't think we have emotionally in the first place. So forget about emotional quotient, right? EQ is asked. Please, one of you read.
EQ is an array of skills that influences one's ability to succeed in and coping with environmental demands and pressure.
Have any idea how high our EQ is, especially students in the house, right? Yes or no? In the house, we are stuck. So many people are scolding us. Also scolding, parents also scolding, and we do not have any choice. If we talk to a friend also, it's like a crime. What are you doing? And every time mama and daddy fighting constantly, this is what EQ is, right? And I know some of my friends who actually told me that they wanted to run away, right? In all levels, the husband wants to run away, wife wants to run away, kids want to run away. Yes or no? Yes or no? I mean, this is a total, you can unmute and talk. I muted all.
Yes, ma'am.
My mama is not here. She's sitting outside. So I locked the door so we can boldly talk. Hare Krishna. So for the lead India tree, like 2 minutes, 1 second, we'll go to this. So research, many neuroscientists and sociologists showed that the EQ is of equal importance, right? So initially people never felt or respected EQ. Today they feel that EQ is equally important. This is the most scary thing. So yeah, it's a cute one. No? You want to have a look at it? Maybe. This is what happens. If people pressurize us, this is how our face will be if we put a mirror. What you see actually in the EQ is basically for top performance, right? This is there. But what is underneath is the EQ. Right? You also see, and I don't want to bring this up, and I don't want you all to take this as an example, but just for your understanding, why do top kids also commit suicide? It's because of their emotional quotient which they lack, right? Their IQ may be very high, but they lack the EQ. No, they just don't know. And what is very important is EQ is very important for long-term success. You need self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, social skills, capacity, acumen. All this, your well-behavior is from EQ, not from IQ. That is why you'll see someone with IE IQ sometimes appears to be very weird, right? So I met, I have to tell you this joke. For a second, I will move out of the screen and I'll just take a second. So we were in a wedding and you normally know, we were on the boy side and the girl side, we normally keep interacting. So the girl's brother had come from London and he was supposed to be very intelligent. And my brother, we were presenting the boy side and he was very silent. And we were like, typical Indian weddings, all of us are making so much noise and all. And, instantly, I don't know why my brother took sympathy and he went and asked this boy who had come from London. Okay, he was in his first year. And he went and asked him, right, why are you quiet? Why don't you join? Right? It's a very normal question. I mean, we would feel someone who does that, we feel good. Yes or no? If someone comes, when we go to a wedding, we may feel bored, but we feel good that someone is calling us. We may or may not go. Do you relate? Do you understand what I'm telling?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
So, you know what he said? He said to my brother, and he said that, you know, it's just happening. And he just said that in UK, talking too much is considered, people who talk too much are considered as fools. I still remember this dialogue. And I just couldn't talk. I just bursted into laughter. The entire row, all my cousins started laughing. And when my brother turned, you know, it was like, we always tell a proverb in Tamil, right? Inji thunna korangal, which means a monkey which eats ginger. So I don't know whether a monkey really eats ginger, but, you know, we always, it's more like an analogy which we say, that the monkey which eats ginger, you know, with a lot of hope, you know, its face, already monkey has a very constipated face, right? If it eats ginger, you know, you can imagine how the monkey's face will look. My brother's face was exactly like that. And it's still fresh in my face. Why I'm saying is, this guy is supposed to be with a very high IQ, but low EQ. I hope when Mohan Prabhu uploads this video, this boy doesn't hear or the family doesn't pick a fight with me. But, you know, that's why thankfully I can read the names. Hare Krishna. So EQ is low emotional IQ, right? So you know what happens with a low EQ, all this happens. Aggressive, they are demanding, they're very egoistic, they're bossy and confronting, right? And they're easily distracted, they're very selfish, they are impulsive, and they are very poor listeners. They are resistant to change, and they're very passive, very slow, they're very stubborn, they're critical and picky, fussy. Come on, someone, you guys must be reading. Someone with a high EQ, read the good ones. Come on. Someone on the right side, high emotional intelligence.
Okay, the high side, right? The high emotional intelligence. So, assertive, ambitious, driving, strong-willed, and decisive.
Go on.
And the warm, enthusiastic, sociable, charming, and persuasive. Patient, stable, predictable, consistent, and good listener. And detailed, careful, meticulous, systematic, and neat.
Thank you so much. So this is the symptom of IQ and emotional intelligence. What happens is 90% of the toppers are from people who have a very high EQ. And EQ is responsible for 58% of your job performance, right? High EQ is important. And $29,000. People with high EQ make so much more annually than low EQ. It's only about EQ, right? So we have always been checked on the IQ, but not on the EQ. Lately, they are doing it. Banks and all, lately, I think over the past 5 to 10 years, they have started, no, 10 years, 10, 15 years, they've started what's called the psychometric test, which touches the EQ, right? So EQ is important for increased leadership, team performance, decision-making, personality well-being, staff turnover, and occupational stress. So that's very important, which is important because you're a team, right? The positive, optimistic attitude, a person with an IQ of 100 will earn success. And a person with 120% IQ with a pessimistic view. So optimism is very important, very important, very important, because most of the time, just before the exam, each time, most of the time, what we tell is, I will. Oh, no. So that is, if it's words, it's fine, but if it's thoughts, then it becomes difficult. So here, Lord Macaulay says that I've traveled across the length and breadth of India and I haven't seen one person who's a beggar or who's a thief. Oh my God, what is this? You know, it doesn't sound like India. Is this India something else? No, it is our India only. It is 1835. Can you believe 1835 is the statement? Such, come on, someone read this. I want to hear from you.
Such wealth I have seen in this country, such high moral values, people of such caliber, that I do not think we would ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage.
Right? So what they did, all Mughals, all British, Mughals at least broke the temple. British only made worse things. You know what? They broke our backbone, which is our culture, and they brought westernized culture, thinking that is the best, right? And so see, today I'm in hot sun. I got delayed because I had a meeting, and I'm still on my table. I'm wearing this full shirt, and I was wearing a blazer in this hot sun in the afternoon. And everybody feels it's perfect, right? But going, in that crowd, when I could get my coat, they saw the Kantimala. Hey, what? Yeah, you're wearing Kantimala. Kantimala is a Tulsi Mala. Half of them didn't know what it was. So some thought it was fashion, some thought it, but few picked, they said, hey, what? Yeah, you're wearing Kantimala. So what I'm telling you is there is a culture, but if that deviates a culture, it's so weird, right? So that's our country. And where did we get? We got it imported. Our ancient Ayurveda is very respected, but that's all gone. So that's why they said, therefore, I propose that we replace our old and ancient education system, our culture, for if the Indians think that all that is foreign and English is good, and their own. So they got the thought. Imported is great. Which is why, when we say Ma Mantra, we taught yesterday, right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We say it's imported. But this fancy for getting imported, so it's imported from Goloka Vrindavan, which is a fact. So they will lose their self-esteem, their name, self-culture, and they will become what we want them. So that is what is their strategy. Solve ethical dynamics. Now you have to tell me, can someone understand what this picture is? Little different. Explain. Now this is the doctor and everybody around are waiting. I don't know how long we have to wait. Why? Because she's just sleeping and anytime she's going to, it's a fact. So, and the husband is waiting. So is she not dead yet? And somebody is going to check, what is happening. So this is the situation. And why is this coming is, we all know about mercy killing, and I'm not going to debate whether it's right or wrong. But this is the kind of discussion which happens around it. So we say law is blind, it's closing the eye. We can see all this kind of different behavior. And especially here, if you see piggy, what do you call this? Piggy mouse. What do we call this?
Guinea pig.
Guinea pig. Thank you so much. Guinea pig. Guinea pig. I don't know whether it's ethically right. I mean, scientists use them, but I don't know who gave them the permission. So I'm not commenting on that. But I'm just saying there are still disputes which are going on. And now I'm not into this politics. Now population seems to be going, and all these political heroes. The situation it is. And you see such lovely children, yes or no? One side this kind of child, so beautiful, sometimes this kind of child, right? So this is the picture, how age, right? We saw about birth and we see old age. Now we also see stop smoking or stop breathing, right? These kind of things, but it has no impact on us. This is called modern time, right? Everybody is an alcohol bottle in the hand and people say use vodka, right? It's transparent and you can't make out. But this casino, right? Going to casino is so much fun. Yes or not? So today the situation is father and son sit close by, but they don't turn. And here same TV, they'll watch both different sides, right? There is absolutely no physical contact at all. No emotional quotient. Further progress and understanding of human intelligence leads to the spiritual quotient. So sorry, last 5 minutes. Yeah, spiritual quotient. Now scientists say that the full picture of human intelligence can be completed with the discussion of our spiritual intelligence, right? It's told by scientists and they say SQ is our ultimate intelligence, our ultimate. Only have SQ because SQ allows humans to create, to seek answers to fundamental questions and play infinite. So you had so many questions yesterday also and today, like how is it already uploaded? Normally an animal won't think like that, right? So the SQ is only human. So here the body, when it dies, right? He passes away, but the body is there. Have you ever seen the body running and going and falling somewhere else? No, it's just there. So what passes away? Can someone tell me what passes away? You're talking, but you're muted, so I can't hear.
Atma.
Atma, thank you so much. Soul. So that passes away is the respect we give. And the body, we already call it. You don't call the body as Mr. So and so because the Mr. is the name we associate with the soul. We play this video at the end. Yeah, you can play. I hope there is no copyright issue, Prabhu, but I'll just go ahead.
Man's desire has always been simple: to be happy. The process by which to achieve happiness is what has proven to be difficult. Since childhood, Our concept of happiness has been shaped by society, and in an age of consumerism, we are constantly bombarded with images, advertisements, told to buy miracle drugs, flash cars, expensive washing machines. The list goes on, all promising lasting happiness.
So I will bring that back, but I just had a copyright doubt, so I just stopped. So now SQ, if you see all this, which we will read in length, right? So a quick line is, we have so many platforms: bodily platform, sensual platform, mental platform, intellectual platform, spiritual platform. So bodily platform is, let's say at 10 in the morning, someone goes to a shop and they say, let me have a drink. They only think of the body, but sensual platform says, hey, forget it. Yeah, this is not the time to drink. Let's first think about, drinking. Maybe I'll pick up a bottle, or maybe I'll pick up something like a juice and we'll come back. Mental platform says, forget all this. Yeah, you have to go and study. Intelligence platforms not go and waste time only. Let me just leave all this and let me just quickly have an idli. So most of the time in mental platform, you'll see all items for food and you want to eat. But then, your intelligent platform comes and tells, you don't have money. You just have 50 rupees or 10 rupees. Just you can get 2 idli or 2 vada pav. And spiritual platform says, good. Can you please keep it to God and then eat it as prasad? So that's what all of it is about. Right? So that's a difference, right? Somebody eats here and the tiger eats there, but the tiger enjoys more. The is sleeping 24/7. Calf is also sleeping. Ideally, it should be a bear, because bear can sleep more. He's attracted. Animals are also attracted. So he's eating. He's dating. Everything is happening. They're also fighting. They're having electronic bar. A human being has a higher intelligence, right? To discriminate whether it's good or not, about what causes all this suffering. Where do I come from? Where should I go? Three means two. It's a video. Dvipada means two. Athat Brahma Jignasa. Okay, all this we will cover in the class. What's very important is our sheep. Now the sheep, bakra, right? It's brought because it has to be cut. But the sheep doesn't know. It's very happy that the owner is given us grass, and thank you so much, owner. But next second, it's going to be there. It doesn't understand. Krishna video is over. Basically, they're talking from birth to death and end of life, right? So that is what. So in the early 20th century, a scientist analyzed the constituents of human body and concluded that it is made of iron, carbon, sugar, potassium, and the lime, phosphorus, water, sulfur, all these chemicals, and the total worth of them is 210 rupees. That's it, right? Those are research. Now, if you extrapolate, it's there, but which is more valuable? If there is a car clash, which is worth lakhs of rupees, and if the person dies, you feel bad. The car or the person? You can unmute it now.
The soul cannot be measured with any scientific instrument. Yet this minute, non-material entity, the soul, is so powerful that it unceasingly activates each body throughout its entire lifetime. This tiny little spark of life thus moves from one body to another. This is called reincarnation. It is not difficult to understand. Even in our own life, we live in different bodies. On the battlefield, Krishna tells Arjuna,
as the embodied soul continually passes in this body from childhood to youth to old age, the soul likewise passes into another body at death. the self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change.
So basically, I'm just quickly going to talk about, there are 125 questions unsolved in science. Of that, understanding conscience is not told at all. So it's totally unknown, right? How conscience. So all these scientists are going to prove this, and we're going to see all of it shortly. So I will stop this because it's going to be repeated in the next session. And I think I always make it a point to finish everything by 4. Tomorrow the chapter is long. Second chapter might go a little long. So tomorrow I won't do this presentation, but I will tell you a story, and I assure you, and I hopefully assure that sharp 3 will start. And with this, we end the session. So any doubts? Do you have any doubts?
And do we need to visit site for quiz after second day?
Sorry?
Do we need to visit today another site?
No, it makes sense for you to visit the site. Maybe crowded, but why don't you just have a look in the house and tell me if it is working? Otherwise, we can spend some time tomorrow. Sound good?
Yes, ma'am, it is working.
It's working. Oh, thank you so much. And Mohandas Prabhu, you will open the chat for them to chat if they have a
Yes,
follow-up.
Maharaj. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Any other questions?
Mataji, I have a question.
Yes.
Who gives Sanjaya the vision to see the
Very
Kurukshetra
nice
war?
question. Very, very nice question. It is given by Vyasadev. Vyasa is an incarnation of Krishna. He wrote Mahabharata, right? That, and he wrote all Vedas. Vedas. Does anyone know the name of Vedas?
Yes, it's Rig, Sam, Yaju, and Atharva.
Thank you so much. The 4 Vedas are written by him. 4 Vedas are written by him. Hare Krishna, can you hear? So he is the one who wrote Srimad Bhagavatam also and Bhagavad Gita, because when Sanjaya could see, he was a Sishya, so he could also see that.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? No question? No problem. If there is no question, we'll tell Hare Krishna, we'll end, and we'll meet tomorrow sharp 2. Thank you so much, and thanks for all your patience, and thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much, Mohandas Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Group is open. Very sweet. He's open.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, all of you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you.